Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are excited to do a key signature review with you today. It's going to be very simple if you know your key signatures, and if you don't, it might feel like a lot, but we're going to try and give you a million ways to figure this out and a million ways to be able to remember it. So first of all, we're going to talk sharp key signatures. So on this paper right here, we've got the sharp key signatures. The most important thing for you to remember is that there are different rules for sharp key signatures and flat key signatures for you to remember their names. All right, they really all work the same way, and I'm going to kind of show you how that works. But to remember their names, they work a little bit differently. So let's just work with sharp key signatures to start. So the first thing they're asking us to do is to write down the order of the sharps. The sentence that I want you to remember for this is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. So we have Father Charles goes down and ends battle. That is the order of the sharps. And so if we look at the sharps, they've written them out for us right here. It's on those notes, right? So we've got Father Charles goes down and ends battle. If you're ever writing sharps, they always have to go in these spots. You can't put them wherever you want. So like if you were to do it like this, if you were to do like Father Charles goes, that would be wrong because the G is supposed to go right here, right above the staff. I don't know why that is, but they just made it that way. And that's the way it has to be. So it would look weird if you put it in the wrong spot. So they go in that order. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Now I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can remember the names of sharp key signatures. The first one is going to be kind of the tried and true way, the way that I always learned how to do it, the way that people have been teaching it for a long time. The second one is going to be kind of a cheater way that I don't actually like, but it works for some people. And then the third way is a genius way that a student of mine figured out last year. Actually, it was like a student with an IEP who like doesn't understand things a lot, but he understood this in a way that I never understood. So it's really amazing. I can't wait to show it to you. That's a cliffhanger. Here we go. So the first way to do it is what they're explaining on this sheet of paper here, this worksheet, is that you find the last sharp of the key, and then we go up a half step, and that's the name of the key. So they're showing you here that we have the last sharp is F sharp, so it's the key of G, because we go up a half step from wherever the last sharp is. You can also just write on the staff, like if the last sharp is here, I put a note right here, and that's on G, right above the last sharp. So we could do that here. The last sharp is on C sharp, so we put a note right above it. It's the key of D right there. Then here we have the last sharp is on D sharp. So the note, so the note right above it would be right here on E. And then here, this one is where you got to remember that it's a half step, right? So the last sharp is on E sharp, which E sharp is an enharmonic pitch with F. So then the name of the next key is F sharp. This is why I kind of like when you're doing this system, if you write it in, if I write the note right above E sharp, I can see that F is already sharp. And that's why this is the name, this is F sharp, because that note right there is F sharp. So that's system number 1. They gave you some examples of common mistakes here, where in this one, somebody did the key of F sharp because they just wrote the last sharp instead of going up a half step from the last sharp. This one, they called it the key of D sharp. That's wrong. It's just the key of D, because a half step up from C sharp right here is D. This one, they called the key of A. This is kind of what I was demonstrating before. The issue is just that this G sharp is in the wrong place. It should be up here, okay? And then this one, they called the key of C, and that's wrong because this should be C sharp, because if I put a note right above that last sharp, it's on C sharp because it's already sharp in the key signature right there, okay? So those are common mistakes, but that's the kind of number 1 way to learn how to do sharp key signatures. Here is the number 2 way. The number 2 way to learn sharp key signatures is that you can draw the name of the key using as many pen strokes as there are sharps. So let me show you. I can draw 1 sharp is the key of G, and I draw it whoop, just with 1 stroke of my pen. 2 sharps is D, 1, 2. 3 sharps is A, 1, 2, 3. 4 sharps is E, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's where it gets a little bit weird. 5 sharps is B. You have to do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it works. And then 6 sharps is F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. See, this is why I don't like this, because it goes like, you have to go like this. F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's F sharp. And then C sharp is 7 sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can do it that way. I think that's kind of like a lame way, because like with F sharp, I get messed up. You have to remember to make B with like triangles. It's weird. So it's not my favorite way to do it, but it does work for some people. So if it works for you, great, go ahead. You can do it with that many strokes. That's number 2. Now here's number 3. I kind of think this is the best way, because if you can remember the order of sharps, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. I'm going to write that down so you can say it a million times. I probably need to write a song about it so that you could like remember Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, that's the order of the sharps. If you can remember Father Charles goes down and ends battle, and then you only have to remember one other thing, which is that the key signature with 1 sharp is G. So if you remember that the key signature with 1 sharp is G right here, that G is kind of the linchpin of the whole thing. The key signature with 1 sharp is G. So then check it out. We can just follow it over. 2 sharps, D. 3 sharps, A. 4 sharps, E. 5 sharps, B. And now here's what's really cool. We've gotten to the end. And so what do? 6 sharps, we have no more. We have to go back to the beginning. But that's why, because we had to kind of go wrap ourselves around, it's not just F anymore, it's F sharp, the name of this key. For 6 and 7 sharps is C sharp. Because it's a wraparound, we had to go back after G. And so we put the sharp on the name because those notes are already sharp. So F sharp and C sharp are already sharp. So that's the name of the key. So 1 sharp is G, 2 sharps D, 3 sharps A, 4 sharps E, 5 sharps B, and then 6 is F sharp, 7 is C sharp. So that's kind of a cool way. And here's the secret. You can do it the same way on the flat keys. I'll show you that in a minute. So that's our sharp key signatures. Method number 1 to find sharp key signatures, go to the last sharp and go up a half step. We sometimes say hashtag half step up because it looks like a hashtag, and then you go up a half step. And then method number 2, my least favorite method, is to do the stroke of the pen, G, D, A, etc. Right? Method number 3, my favorite method, is the one here where we just remember Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And then we remember G is 1 sharp, and then you can just figure it out from there. So that is all the different ways that you can figure out what a sharp key signature is. Now let's move on to flat key signatures. So flat key signatures, it's the same kind of deal where we have flats in a certain order. And check this out. The order of flats, sometimes people remember it as bead, greatest common factor. But the way I like to remember it, about to blow your mind, is that sentence, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. We say it backwards. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. What? Because here's the hint. The order of flats is the order of sharps backwards. They're the same, right? They're the same, just backwards. So the order of flats is the same thing as the order of sharps, just backwards. And that's what's special about that sentence is you can say it forwards or backwards and it makes sense. So flat keys is battle ends and down goes Charles' father. So that's what we've got here. Again, there's a specific place that they're supposed to be written. These ones kind of just like descend like that on the page. So make sure that you write them and make them look just like this, working down the page. Don't put them in random other places like they were doing on the other one. Flat key signatures are a little bit easier in some ways if you're doing the traditional method, which is that you just need to remember the second to last flat is the name of the key. The second to last flat is the name of the key. That's it. So they're showing you down here on this one where there's 2 flats, the second to last flat is B flat. And so it's the key of B flat major. That's it. There's none of the half step up, none of that stuff from the sharp keys, none of that. Just the second to last one, that's it. Second to last one, E flat. This is E flat. That's it. Second to last one, A flat. This is A flat. There's no thinking required on this one. It's kind of straightforward. Now, here's the only thing that's hard about that. And they're showing you here, if there's only 1 flat, it's tricky because you don't have a second to last flat, right? you don't have a second to last flat. So what I used to tell people is you just have to remember it. And you kind of do. You just have to remember one flat is the key of F, just regular F, not F flat, because F is not flat in this key signature, right? It's just regular F. So it's just the key of F, not F flat. Now, all the rest of the flat keys have flat in the name, and let me show you why. Because if we do our system that we learned on the sharp keys, and we just remember battle ends and down goes Charles' father is the order of flats. And we know that one flat is F, because now I only have had to memorize really like 3 things, 4 things kind of, but 3 things to do all the key signatures. Sharp keys, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And the first sharp key is G. Flat keys, battle ends and down goes Charles' father. First flat key is F. So if I start on F, just like I did with the sharps before, if this is one flat right here, and I use the same method that I did before, if I have 2 flats, I've now got to kind of go around, which means because I have to go around, this is already flat. So that's why all the rest of these are going to have flat in the name, because they're already going to be flat. But I can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 flat is F, 2 flats is B flat, 3 flats, E flat, 4 flats, A flat, 5 flats, D flat, 6 flats, G flat, 7 flats, C flat. So easy, right? So all you really need to remember, this is why it's my favorite system, is Father Charles goes down and ends battle, or battle ends and down goes Charles' father, that sentence. And you need to know the first key for sharps is G. The first key for flats is F. And if you can remember that, then you can figure out all the key signatures. Now you can totally do the hashtag half step up, the sharp go up a half step from the last sharp for sharp keys, and the second to last flat for flat keys. Honestly, that's how I learned it like growing up. And so that's how I still think about it when I encounter a key that I'm, not right away 100%. And I think about it, I think of the second to last flat. But this is a great system where you remember the order of flats and you just like go from there, or the order of sharps and you go from there. It's a super great system for how to do this. So that is kind of the overview of how they work. If you would like to spend some time, we gave you this last page here, 1.3, for you to just kind of fill these out and just go through it and see if you can remember what these keys are. And then the tricky thing is the bottom half of the page, where you actually have to write the keys in. So just make sure that you put the sharps and flats in the right place on those, and check that it's bass clef versus treble clef, right? Because this one right here is bass clef. These are both bass clef. This is treble clef. So you got to put those notes in the right place, those sharps and flats. All right. So that is your review of major keys. Please feel free to fill this part out just as kind of a review. We will have a much shorter version of this, but it'll be very similar to this page, what you have to do for your graded quiz later in the week. So that is the plan. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have loved this review of key signatures. I am excited for us to learn much more music theory together, and hope you have a great night.